Better chip her up.
I'm chipper.
Really
I don't even.
dancing.
He's fake dancing, like the chipmunk from the Kia commercial.
I'm just like,
I don't know that.
I don't know. I'm chill this morning. Well, this afternoon, I guess.
Yeah, super chill.
But it's also like this weather is just like, it's cold.
You're like the fourth person that's commented. It is cold, and I get it.
There's
but
no sun. It just feels like
I can. Get
it feels
you.
like 10 a.m. all the time. like it still feels like 10 a.m. You walk outside. The difference between what is it right now? 2:19 and 10 a.m. this morning. You're telling me the difference when you walk out? No, there's not a damn difference.
And then it's like
10 a.m. for the whole day.
4:42, and you open up your eyes, and it's like dark outside.
Yeah, it goes from
like
10 a.m. to 4:42 in bed, just like that.
Yeah,
so it's
right.
like,
well, 4:42 is now midnight.
right, exactly.
On
It's
both
like,
ends of the spectrum, too, nonetheless, right? Like, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Both ends of the spectrum are dark as shit.
So, I mean,
You just really like 10 a.m.? Is that why you're so happy?
No, it's just like why Mike thinks I'm fake dancing, but it's like, I still feel like I'm in wake up mode. Like, not really, because like I've been doing shit today and I've been relatively productive, but I don't know. It's just like, people say seasonal depression. I'm not depressed. It's just the seasonal energy, if you will. No, I'm fine. I'm great. It's just like, again, it's like, who wants to stay at 10 a.m. all day? Nobody.
I don't know. I bangs with 10 a.m.
No.
So
Note to self, if anybody's
just-
looking for a girlfriend, 10 a.m., Marissa's into it. Same.
Just want the sun to come out, really. That's all.
Sun will come out
what do you mean?
tomorrow.
I think we're all analyzing this around the Bears' life right now, right? And there's
Right.
a reason they're
Right.
hibernating.
Right.
And probably
Yeah.
smarter than us for that, right? Maybe we all can go into hibernation. Until
I
spring.
feel like some cultures have it done right, where they take a nap in the middle of the day, and we just like work 24/7, 365, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, it's exhausting to be here, and it's cold, and it's dark, and it's miserable outside, and you're like, man, maybe we should just take naps.
If Mike heard
Who's
one of
not
us
taking naps?
Okay,
I'm taking
wait. If Mike heard one of us was taking a nap, this dude would fall over and have a fucking stroke.
That's how you tell him you're at an appointment.
Literally, he'd be like, oh!
Yeah.
But it's on my calendar. I have a nap on my
Bro,
calendar.
that's the only forgiving. That's the only thing that'll forgive it. If it's in your calendar, it can happen.
It's going to be on my business plan next year.
As it should be. I've always said I want hammocks in the office.
Oh,
I feel
period.
like that's
I
a
feel
vibe.
like Christian, if we had a hammock, Christian would hog it though.
A hammock is like the best thing for
Yeah,
outdoors.
exactly.
He would hog it for one day,
No.
and then he would claim it.
No, that's the treadmill upstairs.
Okay, yeah, that I hate that thing now. I low-key, it's just one with the floor until I want to trash it. Have you ever had a desk treadmill?
I'll
Yes,
I'll
we're
recover
all
your
for it.
phone and throw his treadmill out the window.
I tried the stand-up desk too. That
I think
didn't
it's
work
gonna be
either.
a lot
I-
harder.
I like my stand-up desk. I have one at home and we have one here, and it's nice because it gets the blood flowing, and I feel like I'm talking like, not that I'm like presenting, but I have a more solid voice and it's being projected well rather than if
Yeah.
I'm sitting down like arguably like this. So sometimes again I'll stand up for the podcast, but that's also because my back hurts.
Even just like posture, right? Like if you're working from a desk and you're using a laptop, because most of us are commuting at this point and we're using a laptop, you're hunched over, you're like this, that's not. And so when you're working from a stand-up desk, you can position the desk higher, lower, whatever. And the way that I think Christian, myself, and some other people have positioned it, it's like you're plugging in, you're connecting to a monitor on the stand-up desk. So it's like the whole experience is different than a seated desk. I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
don't
just
know.
my
I
opinion.
can make calls from bed like this, and I'm just calling, and I'm zooming too.
there are times where I have
So-
done. I was under the weather. It's not
All
it's
these
not like
excuses.
a normal thing. But if it's like a sick day where I like damn I have to work, like I need to get things done, but I feel like ass, I'll work. From
I
bed, like,
have
the
a
couch.
full-time job.
That's
Literally.
Christian on a sick day.
You know what's crazy, and maybe you guys experience this. I feel like everyone in our industry does. When you're sick or feeling like butt, everyone needs you. Literally,
Yeah.
all the time. Every time I'm sick, every time I'm sick, I feel like I get fired too. Like my client, I'm like, hey, I typically don't cancel appointments unless I'm dying. And there was a time where like for a couple days straight, I was on my deathbed. I went to the doctors and everything. And he's like, nope, don't care. And I'm like, really? Like, your brother is telling you to fire me because I'm under the weather. Your brother didn't even have a consultation with us. He didn't even sit on Zoom. Like, that is so irrational. But also, it's just like speaking to like,
Let 'em.
I guess the client that
Yeah.
I clearly don't want to work with. Like,
Right. Yeah,
like that. Like
exactly.
it. Like,
Right.
is that really the
Immediately,
person that
yes.
you want to be dealing with?
I
No.
also am of the belief that I push through so much that one time that you're super sick, nothing matters except getting better.
Yeah.
It'd be like if someone close to you needed you, whether it was for like a ballet recital or they were sick and they needed your support. It doesn't matter. If they need you, 90% of the time we're prioritizing clients and other obligations. That moment where someone needs you, it's like, hey, look, this is the hierarchy of my life and I got to prioritize myself and screw you.
Yeah.
And that's not a curse, Susu. You can't yell at me.
Right. But, we do have a guest on. I feel like we should have an introduction.
Is it Dan the Duck?
No.
He's still here.
Dan
I did have this vision of like Dan the Duck in a bathtub.
Well, you
'Cause
could
it's
take
a
him home.
bathtub duck.
He is the
hat
rubber
is Dan
ducky.
the Duck wearing?
He's in our EXP
Oh,
hat.
it's fantastic.
But have you ever seen a rubber ducky with a gold chain?
No.
It's a first.
It's a
first for me.
I've actually never seen a
about to
rubber
pawn
ducky
it.
with a hat and a shirt on as well. So
That is true.
Dan
This
is
very
styling.
exciting.
Dan is he's a regular on our podcast. He's been in my water before, but not
And
today.
he drank it
Yeah, of course.
after.
Hey,
of
if
course.
you love the duck, you love the water. Right?
Hey,
We-
that's how do you think I stay healthy? Introducing these germies.
Oh,
I
my
got it.
God.
Gosh.
Well, we do have a guest on, Brian Coleman. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks, man.
We've met before, YPN over at GBBR. I don't know if you knew Mike previously.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
even
Mike and I
Marissa.
always seem to find time to run into each other at big networking events,
Nice.
whether it's BRP,
That's
Vulnerable
true.
Producers, or
Yeah.
Were you at the Real Producers event last month?
I missed the last one.
I was gonna say I
I
didn't
missed
see
the
you.
last
Maybe I
one.
just
There
got
was-
I was going to say, that's
Yeah.
the first time that I've been able
It's
to
actually
go.
the first time I missed one in a while.
Yeah.
Some other things going on. I had a Christmas party that evening, so couldn't get out of that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, nice.
Again, talking about like, hey, business or personal, and
Right.
you get fired or not from not being at things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that whole thing goes into perspective too with when you go travel.
Yeah.
Right?
That too.
Is it always when I travel, like the battle alarm goes off for everybody that's one of our clients that automatically is like, hey, I got to buy a house now because you're
Yeah.
leaving town?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing as when you're sick, right? It's
Yeah.
It's
Well, I don't know, man. I feel like when I'm traveling, everyone needs me, but the calls are so like intentional and purposeful, and it's a pleasure to take that call.
Sure.
Versus like sitting in the office and listening to somebody complain about the home inspection or whatever the other end is. But I do agree. There's like something special. You get on a plane and somebody's like, "Hey, I just saw a house that I really love." It's like it's
course you
Tuesday,
did.
bro.
I mean, what's nice about our team, and I don't know how it is in the London world. I imagine you guys have some support, but here we, if I'm out of town or Mike's traveling, we have our group chat. We throw it out, hey, can someone show, 123 Main Street for this buyer this weekend, pre-approved, ready to rock and roll. They just really want to get in, and typically we can make that accommodation, which is awesome. Yeah. Maybe there's an off time where
It's usually me too.
Well,
Hey.
she thinks Severna Park or Severn is too far of a drive. It's crazy to me.
I still did it.
Time
though.
out. You're from Baltimore County, Harford County,
Baltimore County.
and where do you live now?
I live in Towson.
So you're in Towson still, homeboy, homegrown.
Homeboy, homegrown,
Bet.
went away to college, came back. And
How long would it take you to get to Severn?
From my house, probably 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
do you mean,
and she
thank
was
you?
exactly. You're
But what
making my
about
point
with
here.
traffic?
Okay, an hour.
Okay, that's what I said.
That's not far.
I said an hour.
Do you?
guys are
Okay, I'll
listening.
paint perspective for you. So I used to do everything that I'm doing today, and then every day I would commute from Southern Maryland, Calvert County, to our office in Roland Park. An hour and 20 minutes each way.
What time did
In
you
Traffic.
get today?
a busted Nissan.
It was Nissan also.
Oh, I had a busted Nissan too.
Okay,
Now
let's
you have
go
a
back
busted
to.
Jetta.
I had a
uh,
2004 Nissan Maxima.
and now you have a busted
No,
Jetta.
let's go.
No, it's not. It's,
It's still running. It's rolling.
Let's go back to
She's
your
hurt.
your
She's
idea
injured.
of a reasonable commute, because an hour and 20 minutes each way. I was traveling for 2 hours and 40 minutes a day.
Dan
told you to do
swam
that?
here from
I'm saying-
Miami.
Never.
I'm just saying that's how that's how committed I was then. I was
and now that you live close, how do you feel now?
about that drive.
No, how do you feel about how committed do you feel now?
I feel very committed. I've hit my goals. Oh, well, I don't want to say I hit my goals. I have fallen short of them, but for what I've accomplished this year, I've been massively more successful than any other year.
All right.
Here.
So, Coleman,
Oh.
Yes.
how did you get started in
It's gonna
mortgaging?
come up.
That-
We're flipping it back.
Mortgages. Wow. So that's a loaded question, but I guess we have to go way back to the beginning. College, graduation 2002. My dad was a big residential builder. So
Oh, wow.
kind of fell into that for 6 years and project managed buildings, new additions, all the things. And around 2007, 2008, Dad had a conversation with me and my older brother and was just like, hey, things are getting real tight. This is right before the mortgage crisis, right? Yeah. And I'm considering selling the company while I can. And so pretty much like, I'm not firing you guys, but I'm going to sell the company. So this is your, hey, what you want to do next, right? So I kind of was lost a little bit, didn't know what I wanted to do.
What were you doing for him at the time?
Just project management. Okay. Like, I was probably responsible for somewhere near 40 or 50 new home builds.
Oh, wow.
And
spoken by the boss's son, spoken by everybody else.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't do.
Yeah. Here's the funny part about that. Dad was tough, man. And that's kind of how I am on my children now. It's not tough. It's tough love. It's, I'll never forget the first job I had when I was 14 years old, sophomore year of high school. Started working for my dad in the summers. And we get to this first day on the job. No joke. And we pull up to this job. He's building a house, and there's 2 tons of number 2 stone in the back and a wheelbarrow and a shovel.
It's crushed stone.
And I pull up, and he goes, well, here's your first job. All that stone's got to be in there by Wednesday. And I looked at him. I'm like, there's literally no way I can do that, Dad. I'm the president. You're the president. What? Like, and he's like, you got to start from the bottom. And I hated it. I hated that comment. Bro. I'm like, whoa, what? Right? But hey, it happened. It happened. Now, fast forward, I'm 46 now. Probably one of the best lessons I ever learned.
Yeah.
Right? Because I see a lot of generational changes here, and a lot of our, no offense to younger children or older people or whatever, but, you got to start. You got to work. You got to put your time in, and to get results. And, like, I think that lesson for me was like, hey, you got to start. I don't care who you are. You're going to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah. Was that just you by yourself doing that?
Yeah, me and another guy that worked for my dad as a laborer. So
and
2 of us.
Did you guys use shovels?
We used shovels.
Tell me you picked up the stones and were like, this is stupid, like one by one a couple times.
I mean, there's a couple times I quit on the site.
Bro, some of these jobs, like I remember things like that, and it's just like, you do the dumbest stuff. Like at some point in time, you probably threw the shovel and you're like, whatever, it's just be faster to do it this way. And then you realize it's not, you know what I mean? But you have to go through that motion of learning and like figuring it out for yourself. And I mean, we talk about it, it's challenging for people, not just young people. You're right. To really adapt to what it takes to actually do something. A lot of people have the opportunity and then they get thrown out on their feet, and it's like, how do they get back up and go again? And now they got to pick up the stones, right?
Yep.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing for sure. So no, after college, obviously got out, and then I was more in charge of like project management, making sure contractors were there on time. We subbed out most of our work, making sure they were paid, making sure they were on time, making sure their checklists were completed all the way through, meet with the clients at the end, do a punch list with them. So that went on for years and years and years, really helped me with understanding time frames, making sure people are happy.
Yeah.
I mean, contracting itself is almost like a babysitting job.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, the HVAC guy was in my way, and you're the electrician, and this guy's in my way. I can't do my job to this guy's job. And, here I am, 24, 25 years old, talking to 50-year-olds. I'm kind of their boss. And they're like, who's this schmuck? And why are you? Well, because you're not doing it right, sir. And that took some time and some understanding. Yeah. But it was great. It was great while it lasted.
I can only imagine the amount of moments you had. It's like, how are we, like, and again, I've never worked in the contracting world, but like if people are in your way, you have to wait for these certain things. It's like, just communicate.
So, you say that, but
that's what I'm saying. I've never worked in that world. So like it like to me, I look at it, I'm like,
be a grown up.
Yeah.
All right. So one of my friends owns a contracting company, very, very boutique, very, very large. And, you don't hear about them until you know them. And once you know them, they're like, wow, that's very impressive. And I had the opportunity to walk one of their jobs, and the project manager, he's like, they basically put me here 24/7 until this job is done from start to finish. My job is to sit here, and he doesn't pick up a hammer. He doesn't swing anything. He doesn't move lumber. His full-time job is to sit on the job site and watch the other people coordinating for deliveries, coordinating for dumpsters, coordinating for the porta potty, or the making sure that the electrical order that came in is to spec for the designer, and walking the client through and inviting the designer for a walkthrough, and like schedule and checklist. And all he did for a year was just sit there. And I go, that's a full-time job for another person that's not doing an improvement. And he goes, look, my boss wants me to make sure that I take care of this client. And I look at him dead in the eye and I go, this has got to be like $1 million renovation.
Sure.
Now, when I think $1 million renovation, I think big and beautiful and whatever. This is a 2,500 square foot house with no basement. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they do an amazing job, but it takes someone to come in and be like, hey guys, we're going to have the HVAC guys here, plumbers, I need you to move over here. And then the plumbers yell and scream and complain. And it's like that management, it's literally wild.
It's just like also like thinking about it rationally is like, don't you guys want to get paid at the end of the day?
Right.
Like, why not do this fucking right the
So
first
we
time?
were, remember I was in this 2003 to 2008, and we were just getting into like cell phone technology use, right? Like we had Nextels, right? The beep beeps.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
The
beep beep, hey, the beep beep, beep beep. Mike,
Bro,
you're there. Come in.
It's so funny because you're like, oh, I graduated in 2002,
Yeah.
which makes you 6 years older than me. Yeah. And I remember seeing the people with the beep beeps and always going like, come on, bro. Right? Because we were like the next quote unquote generation of cell phone technology. And then, the iPhone came out thereafter and so on and so forth. But like, I never had a Nextel ever.
Yeah. So we had those through the company.
That's so funny.
But the challenge was like, when you think about the infrastructure of a house, right? First things first, you got to put the foundation, you got to put the base in, you got to put the block in,
the stone
port, right? You got to go up, build the walls, put the roof on, make sure that's done, make sure the trusses are right, make sure the trusses are nailed correctly with the clips you need, things like that. That usually was pretty simplistic, right? Frames got to be done after the foundation, right? Those stuff always happened. It's when the contractors, after that, with the guts we call of the house, right? Your HVAC, your electric, your plumbing, that's where there always seemed to be a challenge, right? Because the electrician be like, well, I don't have anything to do for 3 days, so I'm going to go in there first. And I'm like, no, you can't go in first because then you might get in the way of somebody that's a bigger thing. And if you think about HVAC, that's the biggest pipe usually going through.
Yeah, the ductwork.
Through the ductwork, right? And then the plumber should be able to work around where his work is. And then the electrician, I mean, you got wires, so you should be last. So that was always a challenge where the plumber would show up and he wasn't supposed to be there until 2 days later. Oh, I had an opening, I just came. And then, just depend on the situation and depend on how copacetic those subs working together on whether we made the decision to send them home or like, hey, you go upstairs, you go downstairs, let's work together here. 50% of the times they were happy to work together. A lot of times they weren't.
Yeah.
Aside from the analogy of like making a mortgage office into that sort of copacetic work environment, what do you feel that has done to help you grow in this industry?
Sure. I think just the knowledge and education I can provide clients for sure. Yeah. The experience of actually seeing a house built from bottom to top, right? And actually,
do you ever tell them like, sorry? Yeah. Do you ever tell them like, hey, stop it? Yeah. Right? Like that issue on a home inspection is not worth you getting upset, or do you just like really stay out of that?
I will answer questions out of my lane if they ask me. And what I'm a big lane believer, right? You guys are experts in real estate. Yeah. That's your job. Right. Your job is to negotiate, find the right house, make sure the client's happy, make sure everything's being done properly, make sure they get to closing, make sure they're understanding on the alts and the CDs, right? Like that's your guy's lane. Then you got your title work lane, right? The lane of legality, how's this going to work, how much you're paying in recording, transfer, all those good things, right? That's their lane. And then you got the lender lane, right? The money, where it's coming from. And, you guys love when I'm not involved because that means you got a cash buyer, which is the best, right? But I try to stay in my lane, right? As much as I can, right? And when I go through an initial pre-approval with somebody, number one, I'm asking the right questions around really why they're buying a house, not just today, but future. Like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan, right? And then I go through that. And when I actually educate them on different options, after I get their information, they look like they're good to go for pre-approval. I kind of build in a small conversation about home inspections. Right. And I tell them like, hey, the only thing that's going to be outside these closing costs are the home inspection. I intentionally leave my home inspection costs out of there. Yeah. Because look, if you have a townhouse like we're in now, it's probably public water and sewer.
This is detached.
Detached. Okay? Sorry. All right. My bad. All right. I'm going to get thrown off on my first episode. But your home inspection for a property like this is public water and septic. I mean, what are you thinking? $500 nowadays, right. $600. But does the roof need to be inspected? Is there a fireplace in there? You get to a detached home. Is it on a well and septic? So I advise them that this cost could be anywhere from $500 and it could be $2,000 depending on how much you need to get inspected. Right. And then the last part of my conversation is that, if you think you're going to go into the home inspection and there's going to be 0 things wrong, think again.
It's crazy because let's
just add that
I've been having
you should have the end button.
I've been having such deep conversation with people even before we go out to the property. Because someone might be looking for this move-in ready home and the pictures are really nice and a lot of light and it looks, shiny, sexy, whatever. And then you go out there and they're like, oh, what the hell is this? Right. And then I'm like, imagine this is just the photos, but you take it a layer deeper in that same inspection report. Everything looks kind of updated, but you see some landlord special type things. You see some trim cut up, just some odd things. and then the inspector can dive a layer deeper, and then all these things get revealed, and it's like, you know, having that deeper conversation. I respect the stay in lane part, and even at the same time, like there's times where we'll lean on whether it be lending, title, inspector for the support around some of those conversations.
Sure.
But, you know, I think the best thing that like to take away from that is like trying to set like a healthy expectation for a lot of people in this.
You have to.
The inspection can be really scary sometimes.
Well, yeah, and like buying real estate is so emotional.
Yeah.
And if you could take the emotion out of it, God, would every transaction be a freaking breeze.
So I also get, you know, should we be at the home inspection? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Always.
And it's not about what they're pointing out wrong, but I also advise them, like, guys, also your home inspector is going to teach you how your house works.
Right.
Like from top to bottom. Where's the main water? Where's the, you know, how do you change a fuse if one electric goes out? What's the GFI look like? Where do you change a filter?
Right.
Right. So those conversations are important. And then you have to have the conversations about like what we call showstoppers in our business. Like what you really want to be looking for, guys, are major things that could affect you buying this property.
Right.
Like a minor thing might be, hey, the GFI is not working. The faucet's trippy. You know, Mike's going to take care of that. He's going to negotiate, get those things potentially fixed depending on the contract situation, if as is or not as is, or what kind of repairs we can ask for, right? Yeah. You might see a dirty filter. You might see these small things. These are small things. This is part of homeownership, right? Expect them to be potentially on your report.
Which is like, it's very interesting. And I guess people just don't know what they don't know. But like, thinking about what does homeownership look like, you know, at some point you're replacing a water heater, some point you're replacing an outlet or a door handle or a shower curtain, like, right? How like simple versus some complex things, even like a roof, right? But like a lot of people overlook some of that. A lot of times people overlook some of that stuff.
I wish that we could educate consumers on like, hey, let's make an offer. And let's talk to them about price. And let's say, hey, if you go up by $5,000, it's going to increase your monthly payment this much. Are you comfortable with that? They go, yeah, cool. Sounds good. Okay. Hey, the water heater is 9 years old. It's nearing the end of its quote unquote service life. Are you comfortable with that? No.
Yeah.
Why? Like, help me understand. I think that our conversation bridges every one of these industries. Yeah. And it's like, hey, you should talk to your lender about what this can look like, but we can also do a renovation loan where you can incorporate the costs of the renovation if that's really something that's important to you. But I think that buyers, for some reason or another, they have these like very important things, like talk about rate, right?
Right.
What rate is my lender going to get? I don't know. The best one? Like, I don't know. And why do you care so much about rate? It doesn't make sense to me. What you should be focused on is the community, the house itself. Do you like it? Do you love it? Is it somewhere you could see yourself having a family? Like, and maybe your family is you, cat, and a dog. Like, I'm not here to judge, but to me, I feel like you talk about staying in lane, all of us sort of like mishmash together.
Sure.
But it's about saying the right thing without stepping on someone's toes.
Right.
And I just wish we could just be like, buyer, boink them over the head and just like, let me lead you to the promised land, right? Here's a 6% interest rate, and that's awesome.
Right.
And they're like, really? Okay. Yeah. But that doesn't happen.
I focus a lot on comfort levels. Especially with first-time buyers. I don't even get to rate. They ask me rate, and I'm like, we're going to get to that. Yeah. Right? Because, you know, if somebody calls me right out of the gate, hey, I was referred to you by so-and-so, whatever. Hey, nice to meet you, whatever. What's your rate? That's the first question, right? Yeah. My question back is going to be, what's your credit score? Right. Like, that's it. And like, you guys will be amazed. It's like a quiet slate for like 10 seconds. Always. Yeah. And they're like, what do you mean? Right. And then I explain how rates work and everything. And then all of a sudden that conversation of that icebreaker is like starting to get them thinking about like, wait a minute, maybe I'm asking the wrong question. And then I start leading into some more digestive questions like, well, what are you paying now in rent? Right. And they're like, oh, I don't know, $2,500 a month. I'm like, is that comfortable for you? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's easy.
We do the same thing, right? Like, what's a comfortable monthly payment for you? And they'll be like, huh? And I'll be like, look, there's a big difference between comfort and capacity. Right. You might be pre-approved to $700,000, but that just might be more than you're comfortable monthly. Right. And to the same effect, when we're making an offer, I always say, hey, look, you know, we're going to skip this question. Right. They're like, what question? Like, look, everybody always wants to talk about purchase price, and it's early on the contract, but we're going to skip to it. We're going to build it in last. Because that way we can understand, are we asking for closing cost help? Do we want an aggressive timeline? What weight and what pillars are we going to build on for this offer? And then we can talk about price. And usually they're like, I want to offer $575 when it's listed for like $610.
Sure.
But then by the end of the conversation, you're like, hey, look, if we're going to ask for some closing cost help and we want to be competitive, the listing agent said that they anticipate having multiple offers. Maybe we want to talk about price. And they're like, okay, what do you think? Well, I think 630, right? Not really, but they're much more amenable to that conversation once we build in the value, same as you with the credit score and the interest rate.
Sure. Yeah. And I build those, we all know. We got our buyers that we meet on a Sunday at an open house and we got to make it an offer today.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh my God, here we go. Which of my preferred lenders is going to answer their call at 2:00 on Sunday? Yeah. Right? I haven't met the people. I have no idea who they are. I want to buy this house tonight. There's 3 offers on the house.
Yeah.
Look, we'll get it done. We all get it done. We figure it out if we can.
Ravens are winning. It's 2:00. Okay, we could call Brian, right? Ravens are losing. It's 3:15. Maybe we should wait an hour.
Let's not go to that conversation today
I would have
after
called anybody
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
But
Robbery.
example 2, the people may not be ready just yet. Like at least we can have time to build a game plan for them.
Right.
And I'm saying, all right, so you're comfortable with $2,500 a month. What do you think you're comfortable with a mortgage payment? They're like, we might be able to go to $3,000. And how much are you working with out of pocket closing costs, things like that?
$5.
I think we could put 5, maybe 10% down. All right, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back you into $3,000 or less a month in Baltimore City for our initial review. So now we know what price range you should be shopping for if you want that $3,000 or less payment.
Yeah.
Then it gets handed to you guys after they're pre-approved. They've got a game plan, everything in between, and now you guys can go be in your lane and go negotiate and get them the best deal, and then we can work numbers through that.
All right. Interesting pointed question. Topic of mind as of late. You have that buyer that says, hey, look, I'm comfortable with $2,500 to $3,000. I want to be in Columbia because, school district in Howard County. Are you at a place, or have you had the conversation with buyers about the potential for a 40 or 50-year mortgage?
We're starting to.
Okay.
Is that going to be a real thing?
Yeah.
Like it's for sure going to be a real
Well,
thing.
but like, why not, right?
I mean, I get it, but
I'm 50-50 if it's actually going to be a real thing or not.
Why?
I just don't know. That was
What
where the
gives
intention of my
anybody
question.
any pause? 40-year mortgages are a real thing.
So
They are a thing.
I think
They're not a mainstream
Christian's
thing.
like, why did I get one?
No,
I'm going to
not
be
at
very
all.
delicate
But-
here because I'm not here for politics. Let's just say that first and foremost, because we're not going to go
What's the fun in that? Podcast politics.
I know. I think the way it's been presented and how it's been presented, half of me wants to think that, yes, this could be a positive thing for people that aren't working for the affordable. And you, Mike and I kind of briefed about this before the podcast started. And half of me thinks it's a show. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this. And
No, I
you know
think-
what mean?
I think
Like,
all of
just
it's
to
a
get
show.
more- just to get more influential and people think I'm going to do
just
these
don't
things
understand
for them.
the like, I don't want to say practicality of it. I understand, like, okay, you can get in the door a little bit easier. It's a little bit more affordable. But arguably, like, from my journey alone of purchasing a house, it's like, if you want it, you can do it.
Well, but there's a
sorry,
lot of
sweetie,
hey.
bite the bullet. And like, you want to own a home, you can do it. Like, I don't understand why this idea of like, granted, maybe things are a little bit more unaffordable or things are more expensive today, but like, why can someone still not go ahead and achieve this dream that they have set out for? Sure. It doesn't even make sense. Like, we have the power to do anything we want in our lives, and yet people are like, oh no, I need a 50-year mortgage to buy a house. No, you don't.
Well, but wait a second.
But why not?
What we really should be
'Cause you can buy a house
focusing on
today.
as real estate professionals is the opportunity to say, hey, look, what aligns with your goals, right?
Well,
and so if somebody
I'm not
says to
knocking
me, and this is like my sister, right? She will say to me, oh no, I want to pay off the mortgage as quickly as possible. So you say, okay, well, why is that important to you, and how does that look like for you? And are you willing to buy a property that's maybe, let's just use some numbers, right? You willing to buy a property for $250,000 on maybe a 15-year mortgage, or even less if it aligns with your goals? And she might say yes, and she might say no. But then if somebody says, hey, I really want to be in this community, I really want to buy this type of property, whether it's 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom, whatever, because it aligns with their goals as professionals, and again, not political. I actually don't care about the politics behind it. As a professional, why are we not saying, hey, here's an option that would help you align with your goals, and here's the positive, and here's the negative?
I understand exactly what you're saying. Like, I agree with you as a professional. We do that for everything: inspections, who people use with their lending. Like.
So why be so opinionated on mortgages?
Christian stood up for this.
No, it's just that time.
Nah, it's about halfway through the podcast.
Yeah.
Christian's got to
He
stand.
popped his
So,
collar.
Right?
So I think if you, again, we talked briefly earlier about building a game plan for a client,
Yeah.
right? And like that's one of the things that has made me, I'm not going to toot my horn too much, but made me successful in the last 20 years in this business.
We have a horn here?
Yeah, Hornet, come on, cheer me on.
No, we just have a sad horn.
All right,
Womp,
whatever.
womp, womp. I got this one for you.
That's fine, good.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
My unicorn helmet on, right? With my helmet. And but like if you look at every scenario that comes in, right? We got people that are going to be putting 50% down with 800 credit scores and make $1 million a year or more, right? You got people that are going to come in with a 612 credit score that have barely enough to scrape by to get into the house, right? So I think if the longevity of the housing ownership right now is somewhere between 7 and 8 years, that's going to expand. I think it's going to go higher, right? Our first-time buyers are like, what, 43 now?
Yeah.
It's the average.
Really?
Like,
But
it's
it's
mind-blowing.
also changed at a very, very fast rate. And we could talk about that too, where we went from 33 to 40 in a matter of 5 years.
Yeah.
And I also wonder how much of that is just the statistics lying to us.
Sure.
Because what we'll really know is if in 10 years, it's still 40 and 45. Now we're really learning
Correct.
something
I agree.
because we have the propensity to go right back down.
Sure.
A whole new generation of people. And what that tells me, by the way, in case anybody's wondering, is that younger people aren't buying houses. It's not that people are older when they're buying houses. It's that younger people aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think back to the 50-year conversation, right? If you've got somebody that's got a good game plan and they're, John Doe, and they come to me and say, hey, and I have a game plan for them today. And I'm like, look, 5 years from now and 10 years from now, this is where we, this is your end all be all. Yeah, Brian, I'm never moving again. This is first time I'm buying a house ever. I'm never going to move again. Maybe that 50-year works because like you said, that's my expectation. That's what I'm doing. I'm never leaving. I've got a better payment, right? If you're going to be there 3 years though, and like, hey, I'm a new resident at Hopkins. I might be at a different hospital in 3-4 years.
Right.
And you're going to go and put 3% down and take a 50, the amortization, the upfront interest is going to be really tough, right? Because you're going to lose some potential money out of that deal. So that same client comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to be here 3-4 years, but I have 15% to put down, right? Why not?
monthly payments
You're spreading that
significantly
equity
lower,
a little bit, and you're using your own skin to get that better payment. So I think the 50-year itself, it's going to be individualized to each individual person depending on where they are.
mean,
I think the most.
Question going back to your example, like a Hopkins student being here for 3 years, maybe go to a different school, or even if they're at the hospital, whatever, different hospital. Not knowing about the 50-year mortgage, typically when people go to get a 30-year, their obligation to live in that home as a primary residence is about a year. Right. The goal of a 50-year loan, correct me if I'm wrong, is to make the monthly payment more affordable for people. So if it's making the monthly payment more affordable, they go 50-year route. In theory, they live in it for a year. Would they still be able to rent it out?
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, you could
Well,
rent
it's their property.
Well, no, I'm asking like.
But the guidelines will honestly.
But like here's what I'm saying though, because like if a 50-year mortgage can get me, like,
Down she goes.
what was that?
Damn, Christian.
If
Broke-ish.
a 50-year mortgage can get me into the property for less as like a house hacker, you put 3% down, whatever. I don't know what the term would be, but 50 years, that monthly payment is going to be significantly. Well, I don't know about significantly,
Yeah.
but arguably less than a 30-year.
Sure.
Right.
And then you turn around and rent it out.
Sure.
But like,
If you can afford and don't have a lease in place, and you got to make sure we can afford the next house you want to move
Yeah,
to without
it's all
selling
it's
it.
all about the
Right, so there's a game plan
guidelines,
there.
right?
right.
Yeah.
And the overlays, but to me, the
Has
most
that been figured out yet? The guideline?
No.
Okay.
the most idealistic buyer utilizing a 50-year mortgage is an average, what I'm going to call middle class family. And so what I'm talking about here is somebody that's making between, I'm going to throw numbers out, so don't quote me, but like let's just say 60,000 and 150,000 as a family. Average middle class, happy go lucky family. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to leverage to get into a different area. Whether they had to buy a big car to hold their 3 kids, or whether they're putting their kid into private daycare because of their, significant needs, whether it's disability or otherwise. That's not the point. The point is that there are levers that are being pulled on parents and families that make it unaffordable and unattainable.
What are those levers?
Like I just said, a family with a child of disabilities has a significantly greater need than a family of a child that does not.
Okay.
And so
cost,
I mean, I can
and
get-
cost
Yeah.
that I don't hold accountable, right? I'm
Right.
holding credit cards, car payments, installment
Yeah.
loans. But that's a great question, guys, by the way. If you aren't asking these as realtors, you want to ask those types of outside questions like that. That hones in real quick with
but
things, right?
again,
Like, what are you paying
right, like,
outside of these bills.
capacity is different than comfort. So let's just say that Brian ran the numbers and their capacity would say that they could pay, I don't know, $5,700 a month, which is a beautiful home. I mean, 4, 5, 600,000. I don't care what the number is, but their comfort, because of these extra costs, because of, they had to buy a second vehicle that they can commute to work in, and now they have this third vehicle that they can move their family in. Well, all of a sudden they have an extra car payment. That's going to impact their affordability. But what if they have to pay for extra daycare, extra support for their kids because of their special needs? And I don't mean special needs in a bad way, but like, what if they just need more support? There's a cost. And so now we're literally creating affordability for a family that otherwise could not, by extending out the life of their loan from a 30 to a 40 or a 30 to a 50. And in the end of the day, dude, there's a 25-year mortgage, there's a 15-year mortgage,
I'm not
there's
saying it's
adjustable
right or
rate mortgages,
wrong.
but yet 90 how many? 95, 98? How many percentage of the mortgages are 30-year fixed term?
It's over 90.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm the perfect person. Buy a house, I could afford a 15-year mortgage, and I go, no, I want to take a 30, because if I ever decide to lower that monthly payment, if I get hit by a bus and I need to backtrack a little bit, the 30-year mortgage says I can pay this much.
Right.
I choose to pay more.
Right.
That's my choice.
Prepaid interest.
Some people can't afford to do that on a 30-year mortgage, and by getting them a 50 or a 40, they're then in a position where, hey, if I get run over by a bus, my monthly payment goes down to $1,900 instead of the obligation of $2,700.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. And like,
I think in the right situation. I think, like I said, the game plan and the needs, and I'll throw that question back to you guys. What do you think the percentages of clients that we work with actually get exactly what they want with their goals, right? Like, the good realtors, the good lenders will get it. We'll get that done. We really know what the needs are, what those goals. And we just talked about, like, hey, these are your car payments, your liabilities, your credit card. Like, is there anything else outside that? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I have a again, special case here. I have a child that needs a special needs for schools and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How much? That's $800 a month. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, I don't use that as qualification. That's still an $800 a month payment that they're making. So that might be in a position where, like, these people, this might be the only one and only house ever,
or medical,
buy,
or familial,
right?
or like, hey, I helped my mom, I subsidized her rent, like, and the real crime, and this is the funny part, the real crime of a longer term mortgage is that it's making home ownership more affordable, which is going to do what? By putting more buyers into the market.
more competitive,
which is going to
drive up the price.
prices. And so what it's really going to do, and if you really want my political opinion, right? What it's really going to do is it's going to drive up the difference between the mortgagees and those that are mortgage free.
Totally.
Mortgagee and mortgage free. Because it's going to create a little bit of a bigger divide between the people that are taking advantage of the equity play and the people that are leveraging themselves to the point of making it. But as I said earlier, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face, some of my best clients and some of my favorite people in this world are the ones that are putting their kids and their family in front of their personal happiness. And so by leveraging their personal to give their family something that they couldn't afford otherwise, you got my vote all day, every day. And that's not red or blue. It's not political in any other kind of way other than I want to support those people.
I think just having the tool, my final answer kind of on this is it's going to be a good thing.
Right.
And I'm not going to say we're going to use the tool all the time.
Well, like,
right? Like, just because I have something in my portfolio to say, hey, well, this is an option, doesn't mean I have to use it for that client, right? I might show them 230s and be like, hey, by the way, just from your understanding of our first call here, here's one that's 50 to get you that better payment. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but I think that then you're depending on making sure that they are educated, understanding the differences there. And I like Mike's play a lot. I actually, I have a lot of people that want to convert to a 15-year loan right now, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
I mean, it's certainly
hold
tight till we get to the bottom, because the bottom could be 3 more years from now, right? Like,
the comfortability and the goals, I think, is really where we're going with this. I don't know. you can have your opinion about it. It's just got to make sense for the person that you're working with and get in line with what they want to do.
I would not recommend somebody that's going to live in for a year or two,
right,
to take
3%
down 50 a year. Like, it's just, because then they're going to call you back in 2 years. Like, all right, it's time to move. Let's sell our house. And you're like, well, you got to bring 10 grand to the table, right? It's not something, right?
in the end of the day, there's a lot of good information. There's a lot of information that if you go out and you research and you want to make up your own and formulate your own opinion, I'm going to tell you, hey, Marissa's been quiet, right? But like, she's very smart and knowledgeable. And like, you want to talk with a real estate professional that you trust, a lender that you can trust. But Liv actually wrote it best on our blog, so I'm going to read it to you guys. The idea of a 30-year mortgage was once seen as outrageous, too long, too risky, and too unconventional, which is ironic because we call it conventional.
Yeah.
Today, it's considered the safe, predictable, and the foundation of American homeownership. Could the 50-year mortgage someday be viewed in the same way? Possibly.
I think so.
Especially if it helps younger generations afford their first home. History shows us that the financial tools often evolve before the public fully embraces them. And I think that's true of what's happening now.
Sure.
I think whenever you bring something new to the table, it's always scary, no matter what it is.
Right.
I feel the same way about like 100% financing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think everybody should do it.
What's the catch?
I don't think everybody should do that, because it's not smart for everybody. But is it smart for some people? Yeah. And should they take advantage of it if they need to? Yeah.
And a plug, and I'm not, in political favor here one way or the other, but plug for mortgage lenders is like, hey, do you trust your lender, right? Because another lender can always offer a cheaper rate. They can always tell you something, but I got to tell you, I've got stories and stories and stories. And one in particular that I mean, the buyer was like, what do I do? Like, I got to get out of my apartment. My landlord won't let me stay. And I go, I know this is going to sound funny, but like, do you know where your lender lives? Like, let's pitch a tent, because you don't have any other option.
Jeez.
And they were promised a lower rate. And so they bailed ship. So, it's always scary. Anytime somebody is offering something that sounds too good to be true, you better have the trust and confidence in the people that you put into place.
1,000%. Rate's only as good as if it closes.
Yeah.
Right. Before I don't know if you had something else. I do have to run. You guys can certainly keep rolling.
This is when we close out, Christian.
Okay.
So normally we do this thing where we're like, man, it's close to the end and we got to close out. It's also scary and I don't know how to say goodbye.
No, I have a Zoom call that I got to
But
jump
what
on,
you
so
do is you say, hey, my name is Christian Olson, and if you need to reach me, you can reach me on @thegrateful_deadhead.
If you need me, you can find me on Instagram @ChristianTheDeadhead. I'll let them take over. I got to run upstairs. Brian,
see you, Christian.
It's great seeing you. We'll have to catch up sometime soon. All right?
Absolutely, buddy.
We're muting you. Slowly but surely. Anyway, if you guys need something, you can always reach out to me. You could go to our website to learn a little bit more about this post and so much more at frankoliverco.com. You can reach out to me on Instagram at michael.frank_____. Marissa?
You can reach out to me on Instagram at marissa_the_realtor__.
And Brian, how can people reach out to you if they really want to get a good deal on a mortgage with a low rate?
They really want
lowest
to.
rates out there. Everything must go off the shelves.
Everything must go.
Black Friday is always on every day at my office. No, honestly, we work on goals. We work on making sure you are fully educated, making sure that those goals are aligning and have a good game plan. You can check out my Instagram feed at Coleman Lens MD. And you can reach me at 443-986-1432 anytime on my cell phone.
1432. Love that.
Phone number
Love
too.
that. We'll catch up with you guys real soon.
Phone number by heart.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the time, guys. What a good time.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.